Welcome to Not So Creative. In this video, I'm going to teach you the Judy's Magic Cast-On, a seamless and invisible cast-on method, perfect for toe-up socks, mittens, or any project that starts from a closed edge. This technique creates a smooth, nearly invisible edge, eliminating the need for seaming. It might seem tricky at first, but once you get the hang of it, it's a game changer. Let's break it down step by step so you can master it with confidence. You'll need a pair of circular needles and your working yarn. To start, you can either make a slip knot or simply place the yarn over the top needle like this to avoid having a knot at the beginning. This will count as our first stitch. Since this method is often used for projects with a small number of stitches, we don't need to leave a long tail. I'll be casting on 20 stitches, so I'm leaving about this much yarn. Around 30 centimeters or 12 inches should be enough. Hold both needles parallel to each other in your right hand, with the tips pointing to the left. Position the yarn tail over your thumb and the working yarn over your index finger, just like this. In this method, the stitches for each needle will be created using the yarn from the opposite side. This means we'll cast on stitches for the top needle using the yarn on our thumb, and for the bottom needle using the yarn on our index finger. Okay, let's get started. Since this method evenly distributes stitches across both needles, we'll be casting on one stitch per needle at a time. We already have our first stitch on the top needle, so we'll begin by casting on the first stitch on the bottom needle. To cast on a stitch on the bottom needle, reach across to the working yarn on your index finger, going over and then under like this. This creates a left leaning yarn over, as you can see. Now, to cast on a stitch on the top needle, bring the yarn on your thumb between the two needles and place it on the top needle like this. Notice how it also forms a left leaning yarn over. This is how you know you've done it right. Now simply repeat the process, always picking up the yarn from the opposite side of the needle. Continue in this rhythm until you've cast on the required number of stitches. Let's take a look at the back of the needles. You'll notice that little bumps have formed, just like purl stitches. This will be the wrong side of our fabric. Now, since we've started casting on stitches for the top needle, the last stitch we cast on should be on the bottom needle. Before knitting, count your stitches to ensure an even number on both needles. Now that we've cast on our stitches, it is time to start knitting. Turn your needles so the tips are pointing to the right. We'll start by knitting the stitches on the top needle first. To prevent the first stitch from loosening, you can take the tail and wrap it around the working yarn and then lightly clasp it to the needle like this. Pull the bottom needle out so the stitches rest on the cable. Then begin knitting across the top needle as usual. Once you finish knitting the stitches on the top needle, rotate your work and repeat the process on the bottom needle. Be sure to keep your tension even, especially in the first few stitches, to avoid any gaps between the two sets of stitches. If you're using this method for toe-up socks, you will typically start increasing on both sides right now. When done correctly, it would look like this. I have a sock here that I made using this method. See how smooth and seamless it is? That's what makes Judy's Magic Cast-On so special. It creates a truly invisible stud with no bulky edges. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please like, subscribe and leave a comment below. Have you tried this cast-on before? Let me know what projects you're working on. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, happy knitting, and I'll see you in the next video.